This
started building
conference will now be recorded.
yeah I started building web applications that are integrating to SAP using the age-old SAP Java connectors. That's where I started. So started building those applications. When with Fiori introduction, I was able to build certain UI5 Fiori applications, and with SAP's cloud journey when it started with Neo. I think you guys are aware of Neo, right? So I started my cloud journey there with SAP's Neo environment, Neo flavor. Um, build certain applications there. There are certain restrictions and some limitations with Neo, and when SAP transitioned to cloud, completely into cloud native technologies, uh, introducing Cloud Foundry as one of those runtimes. I started working on Cloud Foundry, building Cloud Foundry applications, integrating it to multiple, SAP on-prem cloud services and stuff, using the latest and the greatest application programming model. What SAP says it as CAP. It's more or less cloud application programming model. It's a framework that SAP has developed to build applications, cloud native applications on SAP's BTP environment. Yeah, that's my short introduction. I think we all share the same experience, and I'm sure we can relate to the journey what SAP has gone through and how we transitioned our careers there. Yeah, sounds good there. Okay, let
Yeah.
Yeah,
me.
definitely.
Yeah. So coming back to your MDG requirements, as I said when one of you introduced your requirements, right? Again, MDG is module specific, and I may not take you through the MDG journey, and I still think MDG has needs to go through that public cloud interfaces and extensions to it, because I am aware that the cloud version of MDG is not is not that extensible, because I was working with one of those projects related to MDG, and yeah, the organization that I was working with went with the on-prem solution for the MDG. So that's where I can relate to for your requirements. But yeah, on the cloud application programming model, the latest and the greatest offering by SAP for cloud native applications, I can take you through the whole, the process, what it takes to build applications there, and if you are a citizen developer, what are the options? If you are like not so citizen and you are like you just want to use certain tools, there are other options as well with the low code no code paradigms that SAP has brought in. Yeah, yeah, we'll go through those um, topics, but before that let me share my screen. I'll not bore you with um, all the theory and everything. I just prepared a small PPT that I want to share with you, so that uh, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So um, so this is my agenda for today. What is SAP BTP and what is Cloud Application Programming Model? Yeah. So and agenda that I just prepared here is a quick introduction, which we already did. So BTP overview, a quick demo of building applications, and if at all there are certain questions, we'll just have a quick introduction of or just a question and answer session that we can go through. So so what is BTP? If at all we need to explain what is BTP to a 5-year-old. I know we are not 5-year-olds, but to be on the simpler terms, what is BTP and how can we, what is SAP's journey with BTP and what is SAP planning with BTP? You know, so similarly, if there are two organizations per se, one wants to build a new cloud solution and he wants to do all sorts of integrations, build AI related applications or machine learning, predictive analysis, and uh, all the latest and the greatest Gen AI things. Uh, they want to build a solution, and there is one more customer who is an existing SAP solution. They already have an in-house SAP solution, and they are looking to integrate or to extend their SAP systems to their vendors, their cloud, their suppliers. To gather all the information into their systems. Like extending your landscape. You know. So what is the solution for that? So SAP's answer to this is BTP. It's a one-stop solution for all the different needs. Yeah. Either you want to build a cloud native application using the all the latest jargons like generative AI or predictive analysis. SAP has a um, environment where you can bring in all those requirements, and SAP with its BTP technology platform, the business technology platform, it offers all the uh, platform requirements that are needed to build those applications. And similarly, if you want to extend the existing applications by building side-by-side extensions to your S4 system, and you want your vendors to use it or your customers to start sending their sales orders into your SAP system in real time. Yeah. So all these systems or all these requirements can be built using your business technology platform. And SAP sees it as a one-stop solution for all your business requirements or your enterprise applications. So for suppose, let's take an example that you want to start a restaurant business, yeah, and you don't want to concentrate on all the nitty-gritty things like, um, what should be my interior like, what should be my utensils like, what should be my kitchen looking at. All you need to look at is your business model, and if there is someone who can offer you all these services, right, they'll take care of your kitchen setup, they'll take care of your website setup, and they take care of your infrastructure that is needed for your restaurant business, and you can similarly relate that to an BTP environment. So you have a business requirement, and SAP BTP caters to all these requirements, just like how if one organization or someone who can help you set up all the things, you buy their services, they'll help you in setting up all the infrastructure, hiring people, setting up your business websites, and boom, you can start using your the restaurant business that you try to set up. So what SAP is trying to do is it is trying to reduce your TCO, total cost of ownership, when setting up a new business or trying to expand your existing business. Yeah. So that's where BTP comes in. Uh, and this is one of the rising sun that SAP calls it as what it can offer for all your end-to-end business processes. Yeah. So underlying is the business technology platform for any of your requirements. Uh, and it has three flavors like human capital management, customer relationship, your CRM, your HR, and your spend management and business network being the Concurs and other application specific. Yeah. And underlying business technology platform, what we call as SAP's five pillars. Yeah. SAP PTP has five pillars that it is built upon, and those five pillars are app development, automation, integration, data analytics. And this is the latest offering that is SAP has started giving it post the AI revolution that we are seeing on a daily basis. So it started with four pillars. It used to be four pillars, and now they added a new pillar where their business technology platform is built on. So again, what are those four pillars, and what of all those four pillars as a developers, what is needed to us? Again, this training session that we are planning deals only with one of those pillars, being the app development, because cloud application programming is a programming paradigm that SAP comes out with, is on the app development pillar. Yeah. And I think this will be one of those go-to PPTs or go-to screen that you will be seeing what BTP. If SAP is giving you a demo session, I'm sure that they'll come out with this rising sun, what they call it as, and they try to project what business technology platform can offer you. So they says it right, and they also mean it. Build faster with the business context to meet the change and agility. This is what I was referring to in my restaurant example. There is someone who can help you setting up the whole process. You are agile because you can grow as as you go deep into your business, and also build faster. As I said, your TCO, the total cost of ownership, gets reduced as the number of days that you take to set up your business is reduced. Yeah. Um, and I try to articulate what these five pillars and what are those applications, what kind of services that SAP offers. As I said, uh, the application development is one such pillar that we'll be looking at, and what all comes under that is your build apps. If you are aware of what SAP build apps, it's a low code, no code paradigm that SAP came out with, because it's not everyone or functional consultants like you. You don't want to be seasonal developer, senior developer, or a seasonal developer, but you want to, you know, the business case, and you think you can build certain things out of the box that is pertaining to your use case. So for that, you don't need to go back to learn everything, come, follow the bottom up approach, rather than, the design, the requirement, and if there is something like drag and drop, plug in, and build an application out of it. That's where SAP is offering it, the the build apps. I think it's constantly upgrading their build infrastructure, and coming out with new features every year during their tech heads or during their Sapphire events. This is one place where there is an action going on apart from the AI part, and the pro code tools. This is where our training will be concentrated on the pro code tools using Business Application Studio. That's your, if you are aware of UI development or the Fiori applications development, there used to be a web IDE. It's nothing but a web-based integrated development environment for the pro code development. Yeah. So we will be using one of these pro code tools to develop our applications using the runtimes that SAP is offering again. And this is one such pillar we will be working on in this uh, this training session. And the other pillars being automation, integration, analytics, and AI. Automation again being is some insight into automation. So you might have heard of SAP BTP workflows, because when SAP in their R3 systems, um, you have those workflows, right? Workflow is nothing but a business process wherein you need those SAP specific objects to go through certain approvals. Yeah, be it your purchase orders or your goods receipts or whatever be the functionality. Majorly, it's the purchase orders that we always go through a you know uh, approval matrix, because your procurement cannot be done by your low level employee, because if it is in the range of $1 million, your purchasing person cannot or will not have the authority just for the sake of auditing, right? So to get all those things into the process, SAP has their workflow engine, which is built on in the ABAP stack, and that's where the workflow comes into. And similarly, SAP has uh, a BTP workflow flavor. The functional construct is the same, but the way you develop is a bit different, and it's again the same workflow that you used to work on in the ABAP environment. Again, integration. Sorry, integration. Since you are an ERP application and you want to either push the data to some of your third-party applications, or you want to integrate your ERP system from with the third-party applications. Yeah, um, that it could be your SAP Concur system. It could be your sorry, it could be your HR systems, or it can be a completely third-party applications. Yeah, so it was always challenging in the SAP R3 world, wherein SAP is always ambiguous with what they came out with, how to integrate the data, because they want the data to be inside the so-called SAP box, if I say so, and they don't want to integrate your applications directly, and there is always an ambiguity between SAP. I know ambiguity between what SAP says and what the customer says. But for the customer, it's their data. SAP cannot influence them on how to use their data, right? So back in early 2000s, and even in 2010s and 2015s, uh, SAP used to always have this restriction of how to access the data out of SAP's R3 environment. So that's when SAP used to have the PIPO, process integration, or the process orchestration, later they called on. So wherein you have a new system or a on-prem system where the data from your backend needs to be exposed only through your PIPO box, right? So again, it's SAP's way of monetizing things, though it's your data. SAP takes a buck out of it by selling you the PIPO instances, right? That's how SAP works. So similarly, with the cloud, um, imagine this integration as nothing but moving your on-prem into a cloud environment wherein you can integrate your applications the same way you have been doing in the PIPO environment. And SAP calls that as all the integrations. Um, they came out with integration suite, your API hub, your event mesh. Eventing is one concept that they all, they grouped into a one pillar calling the integration suite. And similarly, um, you developed the app, you automated, you had integrated, then you collected the data. As they say, data is the new oil, and with the data comes the analytics part, right? And SAP having HANA as their proprietary database, which has the capability rather than you know um, you might have heard the constructs of OLAP and OLTPs, right? So apart from your transactional data, it also has the capability to build the analytical analytics out of the data that you have. So SAP went big. Uh, I'm sure I don't need to explain what HANA does or how much SAP has um, spent on getting the HANA, uh, HANA database as a database, and your MDG is also built on uh, the data layer or the HANA's capabilities. And HANA has their in-memory calculations. It is robust. It can do those predictive analysis and all those stuff. Of course, I think there is machine learning. I don't think there is machine learning yet, or I think it will be introduced with the HANA Cloud. Again, HANA used to be on your on-prem with the 1909s or the 1905s versions, and with BTP they migrated or they had the cloud version of HANA as well. You don't need to have an on-prem system. Whereas SAP, when you subscribe to BTP, it offers you all these capabilities, and uh, that's where your data layer or the data analytics and the power of HANA comes into picture. Next, the latest pillar that SAP has, the AI core or the AI business services. So post TechEd 2023, yeah, 2024, I guess, right? Yeah, 23, sorry, my bad. So in 2023, SAP came out because SAP has to come out with this a new offering every time they have their TechEds, and this year it's been AI, generative AI, with the introduction of open AIs and all the AI buzz that we have seen through the later years, the last 2 years. SAP also came out with their AI core, wherein they are integrating the large language models of open text, llamas, and there is a whole construct of large language models out there, and SAP is integrating with them because as a BTP, it abstracts all the stuff and it gives you the all you can do is use that, but SAP takes care of all the integration with this large language models, the connectivity, and also the legality, because AI, it's though it seems simple to use, but there is always a legality tied to what AI offers you and how your company data is exposed. Yeah, so large organizations do not, though it's buzzing, I don't think they will be jumping on that train just to have it, because can be your data that is being exposed to the large language models, and you don't know what happens to your data. So there's always a concern of how you integrate your applications with AI core. But again, I think this is going to disrupt uh, uh, few of the streams with AI. I know you guys might have seen it, what AI is doing or what the open AI is doing, and similarly, AI in the SAP context is like um, you know like a consultant helping you to how to use the system, because AI always have a context. It can be on the BTP environment, it can be on your MDG applications with all the nuts and whistles of OpenAI and SAP's capability. Uh, it's just beautiful for the end users to use. Yeah, and again, there's a lot of application specific, you can't directly expose your data to open LLMs to summarize or whatever. Again, there is a bit of the RAGs, where you construct or where you train the large language models using all the services that are offered by SAP, and you get the benefit out of it. So on a whole, these are the five pillars. Uh, and since you are on MDG, I think this is where you can relate to. But again, since this is on the PTP's application development, I think this is where we'll be concentrating on the application development pillar. Yeah. Um, okay. That's what I thought of communicating or putting out. What is SAP's BTP in a nutshell? But we'll be dwelling deep into the application development part. Yeah. So any questions so far, or shall we move?
Yeah, Chaitanya, thanks for explaining all these five pillars and how
Mm-hmm.
BTP, connects. As I
Yeah.
mentioned, yes, I think we are in the fourth pillar, which is data and analytics, where how the BTP can be
Yes.
interfaced with all this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, yeah. So the application development, as I mentioned, will be concentrating on this first pillar. Uh,
Yes.
okay, and I think you may explain in the further slides like what are the applications you develop and how that will be integrated.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the first slide you mentioned about two scenarios, organization one and two. I think in our
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
consultant where we are working, maybe the organization two scenario will be holds good for us because most of the clients
Mm-hmm.
will be on SAP solutions, and then
Yeah.
how that BTP will be linked to the
Yeah.
organization to this scenario. And I
Yeah.
think the first pillar application development, I think we need to understand what are the application you develop, and then how that
Mm-hmm.
application will be linked to S4HANA, for example. Yeah. So I
Okay.
think
So,
that would be helpful.
uh,
Yeah.
okay. You want the background of what I developed, or
No, no. I mean to say, in the further classes, you said application development.
mm-hmm.
Any example of
Mm-hmm.
application, how that will be
Yeah.
interfaced, or how that will be linked
Mm.
to the first scenario, organization two scenario, where
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
our company is already on S4HANA.
Sure. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a brief history of what BTP has gone through. If you are aware, SAP's BTP is not BTP when it started. It used to be, if I remember, SAP's cloud platform. I think, yeah, that's back in 2012. That's where you might have heard of NetWeaver as a platform, right? NetWeaver is the underlying SAP's platform, what they named it as. And similarly, when the cloud journey started for SAP, um, lack of other better term, because they were used to NetWeaver application stack and everything. So they just thought, let's have the same name for cloud, and they just named it Neo. So that's how Neo got its name, NetWeaver on demand, back in 2012. And Neo SAP, initially when it started, we thought, or the ideology was that why do we need to rely on some other partners for the data center management? Of course, it's not their uh, capability where the SAP excels on, but they started that because of maybe the limitations or the ideology back then in 2012, and they started building their own data centers. You know, right? SAP is good with their ERP software rather than managing data centers just like Google's or the Amazon's, right? So that's where they started with NetWeaver on demand, and they started building their own uh, data centers. They used to host this cloud platform there. They used to take care of all the patching, everything used to be taken care by SAP's, uh, the infrastructure teams there. Slowly, in 2017, Cloud Foundry environment got added to Neo. So we'll spend some time on Cloud Foundry. Before that, uh, SAP through the journey from 2012 to 2017, um, they learned a bit, right? Because data center management is not that easy. It's a 24/7 running machine that needs to be taken care. It's it's both, uh, employee dependent and also uh, resource dependent, and also you need to have all the technology experts and also the people to maintain those data centers. So 17, 18, when they started, they dropped the HANA cloud platform and they said SAP cloud platform, SCP. And they realized that managing data centers is not their that are not their cup of tea, and they started looking for options. And that's when the bubble of cloud computing also uh, emerged with AWS, GCPs, Alibabas, and everyone offering the services. Uh, then SAP thought, let's use their capabilities and let's build something on it so that you get best of both worlds, right? So that they don't need to manage the data centers, rather they can use the Amazons of the world because they are experts in maintaining those data centers and everything, and build a layer on top of an abstraction on top of that and offer that platform to the users to use. And that's how um, the BTP is born, or they renamed it to a technology platform from SAP's cloud platform. Yeah, it's a new brand name in 2021. I think you are aware that SAP is bad with the names. I don't know what goes with their naming. Uh, because recently I came across SAP Build, SAP Build Apps, stuff like that. And I was confused to see what is Build and what is Build Apps. Yeah? Both offers different things, but the name again is ambiguity there. Similarly, through the journey, yeah, I started with the Neo. So you last in 10 years, you would have seen how the name has changed from SCP to HCP, then to BTP. Yeah. So Cloud Foundry is one environment we will be working on, or rather, we'll be building our applications and deploying our applications to. So again, a bit of Cloud Foundry's into the history is that I don't have a slide to that, but Cloud Foundry again is an open source, what do you say, open source cloud native applications platform, wherein um, it's a consortium. If you have heard of this organization called um, what's that? uh, sorry, I don't get the name, but it's a consortium that is managed by multiple big organizations, wherein they built a platform because to build cloud applications, right, you need to be aware of all the terminologies or all the network-based networking and all the aspects of building your applications on a cloud environment. So Cloud Foundry is nothing but an abstraction again, where you give it the data or your application code and it will run it for you, rather than you worrying of how to network it, how to have the network connectivity between my database or the libraries that I need to use. Everything, you build the code, you develop the application and give that application file or a zip file to Cloud Foundry environment. It understands your requirement, it opens up your applications, and then it plugs in everything. Yeah. So in the on-premise world where you need to take care of all the things, right, you develop an application, you need to take care of the connectivity, you need to be taking care of your database resources, you need to be taking care of the networking protocols, the security and everything. But in cloud, you need to be agile and it needs to be fast. And that's also one of the reason why SAP has come out with this application programming model. So Cloud Foundry is one such open source platform, cloud native application platform, where SAP is also contributing to its contributing to Cloud Foundry's development. It's an open source, open source, and uh, yeah, open source being open source, SAP has used some of its features of Cloud Foundry. They built a layer on top of it. As always, SAP does that. Instead of rebuilding everything, take the best out of it, build what is needed, and you have a beautiful solution wherein you don't need to spend most of your R&D onto building the um, platform, rather than use it and build a layer top of it, build an abstraction on top of it so that you can build what is needed for your use case and also the benefits out of the existing platform. So Cloud Foundry is one such environment, and the applications we are developing will be deployed to Cloud Foundry, and we will be going through that journey as well. Yeah. So that's a brief history of BTP, how it started and where it is heading towards. In the latest offering from SAP, there are new services that are being added on a daily basis, or um, SAP is coming out with new applications new services wherein you can embed your AI capabilities, and all these services can be looked at Discovery Center. So SAP has a Discovery Center, uh, just like all the cloud hyperscalers give us. You can go there, you can search through all the services that are available, and you can start using it. And BTP services again are charged based on your usage. Yeah, it's like your intern. It's not like your internet. You pay and you use the services. It's like pay as you go. Yeah, you use 100 MB of SAP's compute unit and you pay for that, rather than you commit to I'll be using 100 MB and I'll pay this. You pay as you go. You use or just 50 MB and you pay for 50 MB for that month, and the next month you use 200 MB and you pay for the 200 MB that you use. There are different licensing models that SAP comes out with based on the services that it is offering, and that can be, we can see the Discovery Center when we are going through it, and we'll see the licensing agreements that we need to sign upon. But for trial accounts, that's where SAP also has a trial account, because for us like developers or for organizations just to understand what is BTP, they also give us a trial account. And a trial account, I think we'll be subscribing to it. I'll give you I'll share you some details on how to start creating your trial accounts, and we'll get ready for the next session when we have one. So trial account is where you can experience SAP's BTP platform, understand what it is offering, build your POCs. Even your Gen AI, you can still use some of their services and build the use cases, and then get confidence and maybe subscribe to a licensed version of BTP or the services. So next, learning path for SAP BTP. This is some extract that I took out of one of those community editions. So how do you build applications on BTP? I think this is the journey that one has to go through. So yeah, step one is always learn the basics, which is the fundamental of any module or any application that or any stack that we are working on. Learn the basics, which I think I'll be helping you with getting the basics right. Then access your BTP system. Again, I said I'll be sharing you a SAP developers link where you can, if not, you have not, looked into BTP, you can look at to that setup or the step-by-step instruction that SAP gives you. Or if you're already familiar with BTP, then I think you already started, but will start using what is required for our development. Yeah. Again, get access to your BTP system, build your first application. There is nothing better than doing it ourselves rather than you know just going through those blogs and everything. Uh, Again, application development. There is a pro development that we can take on. There is a low code. Be it anything, we need to be building our first application to at least understand what we see on a daily basis, just to make sure that our understanding is correct, so that you will get to know, because whatever you see will not work the first time. Then you will dig through it, you'll learn through it, and I think it's the same case with you as well, right? With your MDG applications or the MDG solution that you have. Of course, it's a solution out of the box, but again, uh, certain configurations, unless you do it, you'll never remember it, and you cannot get hands-on with your module as well. And then understand the nitty-gritty things of building applications on BTP, which is step 4. Then deep dive into SAP BTP, because you can become one of these BTP consultants. Yeah, if you're looking for a new career opportunities or looking to expand your knowledge horizon, yeah, you can be one of it. You can be a developer, you can be an architect, you can be a consultant, uh, providing solutions to your business administrator or a citizen developer or DevOps engineer, because BTP as a whole offers everything to you. It's not like you only develop applications or you develop HANA views or do the application or the data modeling, stuff like that. You can be any of these, roles that fits you and that excites you. BTP architect being, having the overarching understanding of what BTP offers, what are the services, your um, licensing paradigms, your application development, and You can be a administrator just like basis, in the R3 world or then even in the S4 world, you have a basis administrator who gives us the permissions, the roles and everything, right? So there is also BTP administrator because all the applications should not be accessed by everyone. Think of the same thing in your on-prem world. You do not have access to everything. Only an admin can have access or he assigns you roles. Similarly, BTP has the same governance structure, security governance, wherein there is an admin who assigns those requests and stuff like that. ABAP is also one of those runtimes SAP is offering. If you heard of steampunk, yeah, steampunk is the technical name they gave it to ABAP environment, and you can start developing ABAP applications on BTP if you are an existing ABAPer. It's just that you don't need to look at CAP. CAP is one platform. CAP is, you might have said, CAP versus RAP. What is cloud application programming versus RESTful application programming? I think we'll delve into it when we are there. But again, it's not that you can use your existing ABAP knowledge to build applications using ABAP, or if you're a seasoned developer and you have the urge to build applications using the cloud native application programming models, then you have CAP as one of those paradigms to work with. And there is always best practices, guidelines, reference architectures by SAP. I think I'll give you those links in the subsequent classes of where to look for if you want to become one of those uh, BTP, you want to delve into one of those BTP roles. Yeah. I think we stand at 7:45. Um, okay. Um, just a brief of cloud computing because we are talking of cloud native applications or cloud applications or BTP, which is completely on cloud. Before we develop your applications or understand what is BTP, there are few basics that we need to understand. What is cloud computing and what are the different types of cloud computing uh, offerings by the hyperscalers being your Amazons, the Googles, the Alibabas of the world, you know, though they are into cloud computing and these are all the services they offer you. Yeah. Uh, if you are looking at Azure's or AWS's, imagine this, like, you have your system in cloud rather than you building your own system or your laptop. Imagine your laptop has an interface through browser, you access it and boom, you don't need to spend on the whole machine that you're working currently on, right? So that's what cloud computing gives us. Just through an interface, you can access all the networking, the database, the server capabilities, and everything out of cloud computing infrastructure. And there are few types of cloud computing offerings. There's infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So we'll just delve into what these are and how are they different and where does our BTP stand of all these types of cloud computings. So this is your classic on-prem world, right from your on-prem systems that are maintained by organizations in your in your day-to-day life. So all this, right from networking on to patching, to OS upgrades, the runtime, the data and applications, everything is managed by your data center team, the basis guys taking off SAP runtimes, or even with the data storage, how is the data exposed, their roles and everything. It says like managed by user. This grayed out are the services that are offered by or managed by the organizations inherently. So this is the pain, on premise. You need to take care of everything, and every layer is controlled by people or resources which the organization needs to manage on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Then came cloud computing types. The reason why cloud computing has boomed is previously the networking or the hardware used to be so costly. Yeah, it was never cheap. Your SAP R3 servers used to cost a huge amount to the organizations, but SAP is just their system of records, but that their main business is something they're into manufacturing or a pharma organization or an API maker or something like that. But they're spending so much on their IT infrastructure just to maintain a server that has some 100 GB of data just for their system of records. Yeah. And that's the reason when that's where Amazons or the Azure started renting those services, right? Why to own it when you can rent it? That's the new paradigm with cloud computing, right? So instead of buying the whole infrastructure, why don't I just rent it on a day-to-day basis? I'll pay for what I use again. So that's when these cloud computing services came into picture. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS. So in this case, what it does is it sets you up your laptop. Imagine that you give the specifications. Say I need a 1 GB networking layer with 100 GB of data, and I need 6 compute units, and it needs to be virtualized. You can rent these parts of it. Before it was owned by you, and you're spending $1 million on this. Instead, you rent these things so that all the maintenance, the backups. I don't think infrastructure has the backup, but yeah, again, these things can be given to the third party like Amazon, where it maintains and it's an expert there. And you just take care of your other parts, your applications, your data, your runtimes, middleware, and OS. This was the classic example wherein your servers are hosted by someone, uh, Amazons or the local data, controllers or someone who is hosting your data center. They take care of everything, and you deploy your middleware, your OS on those systems, and you run your applications. So this is delegated. Then came the platform as a service. Even apart from virtualization, you can also own what kind of OS you want. You can tell the partner or the hyperscaler, say, I want to use Linux or Windows. You say that middleware, I just need Node.js as one of the middleware, or I just need app abstract there on the runtime. Your Javas or your Node or your Ruby or whatever be the runtime that you want your application to run on, you can just rent it or just ask your hyperscaler to give those services, and you have everything. All you need to worry of is application and data. You build your application, you manage your data. Rest of the pillars of maintaining an application is taken care by someone who you can question on a daily basis, or who you from whom you can demand the services. But because you're paying, you're a customer. As a customer, you can always demand things for what you have paid, and you have peace of mind, because you have someone to answer rather than pointing finger at yourself by managing it on on-prem world. You have someone to ask a question, point fingers at, which is a good thing to have, right? Yeah. Again, SaaS. SaaS is not something. Um, there are many examples in your day-to-day life. Um, let's say your Gmail, yeah, a classic example of SaaS. You need not worry of anything. You just subscribe. You create an account in Gmail. Boom, you have everything. You need to take care of how the application is built, how the data is managed. You use the services. And in the SAP world, you have examples of Concur, your HR applications, or your Aribas. Those are all SaaS applications. All you need to do is subscribe to it. Yeah. And you have your own tenant specific data. For SaaS applications, you cannot see the other customers' data, right? In Gmail, you don't see my Gmail's data. You only see your Gmail's data. So all this tenant specific or tenant isolation is taken care by the application vendor, be it Google, be it SAP. They build the isolations, and you are supposed to see what you are supposed to see. A classic example is an apartment, right? The same apartment, we share everything, but you don't get to see what's happening in the neighbor's house unless you peep into, right? So imagine SAS as your apartment building. We are separated by walls, but still we all share the same resources. Your water is the same, your electricity is the same, but how you use it is depending upon our use case, right? So that's how SaaS applications are built on. So a brief intro on cloud computing, what it does and have, what's the flexibility of having computing or cloud computing services. Yeah. So again, what is um, so okay. So Naveen, what's the scheduled time for this? We are like 1 hour, or we can extend some of it. We have 15 more minutes.
You're
Naveen?
asking the training schedule, right?
Yeah, yeah. For today, I think we are like 7:50 at did we schedule it for 1 hour or
Yeah, 1 hour.
can
Yeah.
we? Okay. So again, cloud application programming is one of those modules that I was explaining you. It's a programming paradigm or a framework, you can say so, that SAP has given us to build applications on cloud using their programming model or their framework. So again, what is a framework? What is a library? So framework again is like it does the heavy lifting for us, and we just use those services offered out of the box for us. If you are building something, yeah, if there is something that you can just use it rather than build it, that's where a framework comes in handy. And SAP has built this that way. It's an opinionated framework. Opinionated means um, in the framework world, there is a concept called opinionated, unopinionated. So opinionated is giving you what's best. Yeah, you follow this and you will have a golden path. This is the golden path that you need to take to build robust enterprise applications. So SAP is saying that its cloud application programming model is an opinionated program, and it is also open. It's not that you have to follow this path, but it's a it's saying that if you follow this path, you will end up building a robust application. So that's where CAP comes into, cloud application programming comes into. As I said, it guides developers along a golden path, proven best practices, and yeah. And if we have some time, I think I'll. Um, are you able to see my screen? I just want to.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So yeah. So how you develop applications is SAP is, as I said, your cloud application programming or the tools that it offers is one such thing. I think I'll take you through how to set it up and everything and what it does. We'll have some more details on it. But a quick demo, if I say I just need to build a bookshop application, I don't need to worry of it. I'll show you how quick it is. But do not worry of what I'm typing. You just see how fast I can build an application. I just said serious. These are commands. Add tiny sample a demo application. So what it did, I just gave a command and it gave me an application out of the box. And do not worry of what's happening here, what are these folders are, but it gave me a sample application that I can use. Now all I need to do is I just need to go to my demo app and I can just say serious watch. See again how beautiful this is. It gave me a sample app and it is saying you can access this app on my local host. And if I just click on this, come on, okay. So it says this is your CAP server and this is my Fiori preview of the application that I built on. It may take a minute before it gets the data. So again, you have out of the box a Fiori application with running just a simple command. It just gave me a tiny sample application with some database and some sample data. So this is my CSV file where I have some sample data. And if I go to my Fiori preview and I just added my columns, I say, okay, yeah, see, it's just in a couple of minutes, I was able to build a Fiori application out of the box, exposing my sample data with two data elements like withering heights and chain array. This is a book sample. And if you say, is there a big coding that I didn't done for this? I'll show you. I just said I have an entity with these three fields and just give me a data out of it. And this is my sample data and this is my service. What I did, this is my data model. So I said from this data model, just expose books as one of those entity. And what I got is a beautiful Fiori app. So this is the opinionated programming model or the framework that gives you define what you need with your data model and I'll do the rest of the things. In classic world, if you just define your data model, then you need to write the whole application logic to it, right? Select call, you need to write SQL, right? Select star from books, where, or get all the books. I did nothing to this. I just defined my data model, I expose it as a service, and I have a list built out of it. So this is how CAP enables the developers to do rapid prototyping. And it's just a simple example that I gave you, but once we delve into it, it builds enterprise grade applications for you with you just take care of modeling your data, how your application should look like, and I'll offer you many things out of the box. Yeah, you don't need to write SQL to me. Instead, I will write it for you. See, it did this for us. The framework did this call to us. It said, read, I just accessed it, give me the books data. And it said, I'm going to database and get fetching you this data and I'm giving you the data. So imagine how fast it can how fast we can prototype our applications, build POCs, show it to our customer, get some feedback, again start the whole cycle of application management. So all this part, what it is trying to do, how we are building, we'll delve onto it. But this is what I try to you know give you some insight of what applications that you can build out of BTP. Do not worry of what I did here. We'll go through it line by line, what each of these folders gives us, and what is package.json and everything. If you have some programming knowledge, it will be beneficial. But again, it's not that rocket science, as you know. Our experience gives that, right? I simply always say this: experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. So if you're new to programming, uh, your experience will teach you how to learn stuff faster rather than uh, you know just like a fresher who doesn't know or who doesn't understand what's happening around them. So your experience adds to your learning, and with the framework, I think you can learn quickly and build your applications. So on the stroke of 8, that's where I want to stop, and I'm open for any questions that we can discuss for next 15 minutes if you have some time.
I have a question. This is
Hmm.
Prashant here. I just joined lately.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
why is this called as a cloud application programming? Does it mean that I cannot do this programming on S4 HANA on premise where I have all the BTP and everything?
Hmm. Okay, good question. So your as for HANA again, so SAP has this construct or a paradigm that they are coming out with. Keep your core clean. Yeah. So again, to keep your core clean, SAP offers you two approaches: in-app extensions and side-by-side extensions. So again, if you go to S4's guidelines, if you want to extend your data model and build even extra features to the existing views or something, you always should go to in-app extensions. Yeah. So all the things needs to be in the core itself. That's what SAP calls as in-app extensions, and these in-app extensions are not affected by your S4 releases, right? So the classic problem with S4 releases or upgrades is you have so much of custom code built into your system over the years, and when an upgrade comes, you're not sure what. Of course, there are tools that SAP came out with. What happens to your custom logic, but with the cloud, you don't have that flexibility. So that's where SAP came out with this CAP or cloud application programming model, where it says if you want to build an extension, yeah, so you want to expose your data to a third party application, or you want to get some data before your sales order is being created. So for such scenarios, you just don't extend your core, rather build applications on BTP using one of those programming models where your data is pre-processed. Again, when you're creating a sales order, you want some data coming from a third party system that then create a sales order. So use SAP BTP applications to pre-process your data or post-processing of your data before sending out the data to some of your third-party applications, and you want to enhance it or do certain stuff with your data. Use the applications built here so that you don't affect your core, and you are always free from having those implications of custom code in your core S4 systems. So again, it's case to case. It's not a solution that you need to build on. If you have, because if you are an ABAP infrastructure in your existing organizations and you have ABAP team, you can always use BTP ABAP stack to build your interfaces or to expose your data. But again, um, CAP offers you modularity and a microservice architecture, whereas ABAP is not microservice oriented, and it's just again imagine that as a web system on cloud. So it's a block there. It's a monolithic that you can work on. Like, of course, it offers you those services out of the box using RAP. It's again your use case of what to use, CAP or RAP, or how do you expose your data. Did I answer your question, or you still have certain?
Yeah, I think
Some,
pretty much. Um,
yeah.
I got a little bit. I'm not.
Mhm,
I have 20 years of experience in SAP, but let me. I mean, the reason I'm asking this is I just wanted to know whether it fits to me, or I'm both
mhm.
techno-functional consultant with
Sure,
20 years,
sure.
22 years of experience. So let's
Yeah,
take an
yeah.
example. So are you saying that
Mm,
going forward, the Fiori, what the developers are doing hands-on coding will go
mm.
off, and then you can build the application on fly using the same OData entities or like that?
Yes and no. Because SAP is coming out with their low code, no tool paradigms. Yeah. Uh, so with productivity tools as one of their additions, if you are a seasonal, if you're just a functional user, and if you have a scenario where you don't want to go back to a developer and start building your applications, if you have an idea and you are techno savvy, SAP has a programming model, or not the programming model, tools to build that. You know, if you um, drag and drop is one such feature, because SAP purchased AppGyver to build their low code no tool applications, wherein you can drag and drop those controls, and it builds the app in the background and gives you applications that you are looking at. So
I do understand that. So for a demo purpose, and a functional guy can
mm,
actually use this
yes,
guideware or
yes,
whatever, and they can build the application and show to the end users.
yes,
But
yes.
what I'm trying to
So
understanding is,
mm,
as a see, I know both development as well as functional. I mean, going forward
mhm,
in the future, like if you go ahead and see next 2 years, after 3 years,
mhm.
how best this can be useful, because right now, I mean, is BTP is only means is programming, or does it has any other any other help thing there in the BTP, or how is it going to help us out?
Yes.
Is it only used for
Mm,
just like a like a
yeah.
prototype application?
Mm, no, no. So what I meant to say was, um, with BTP, you can build those simple applications where you do not spend time on getting the whole software lifecycle management for simple app. And if you need a custom applications wherein your functional consultants cannot, they have the idea but they cannot do the custom applications requirement, then this is the path to take on. It's again your case to case scenario. It's a simple app. You can use your build apps and build it. But if suppose you want to build a vendor portal to integrate your application, yeah, to your S4. So you don't want to use Ariba, but you have a simple scenario where you want to build a custom applications that uses your S4 data, exposes it to your vendors. They can punch in their orders, and you want to create a purchase order with the data that they're given to you. Yeah.
So we have a
So
lot
for
of,
those,
yeah, say for an example, we have a lot of warehouse management we developed in,
yes.
I mean, we are in
Mm,
ECC 6.0, we didn't migrate to S4 HANA. So we have a lot of
yeah.
model pool programmings done in warehouse
Hmm.
management side. If we go to
Yes.
S4 HANA, so
Yeah.
can we actually get those all the model pools into the using BTP cap model, like, develop front end?
Yes, you can do that. Exactly. Your warehouse applications that you're exposed to your plants, right? Or whatever be the scenario. All those applications, instead of how you are exposing maybe through custom applications, those applications can be built using your BTP platform with the cloud application programming model using the UI Fiori as your front end. And
So
again here, because
one
here,
last thing. Yeah, I got that. One last thing. Sorry, I'm just I want to wrap it
yeah, no,
quickly.
no,
So
let's
what
go
is
ahead.
the? I mean, now let's take a step back. So that right now the developers do SAP Fiori to develop front end fancy look UI and UI feel and
Yes.
look, right. So with
True.
cap mod, I mean with cap programming, so
Mhm.
is it easy to develop with this, or you don't have to learn all the Fiori concepts and everything? The system automatically builds apps here.
Yes and no again. Again, your use case, you might have heard of Fiori elements, right? So Fiori elements, again, this app I showed you, there is no UI here. My
Yeah,
UI is
yeah.
blank, but I get to see the data. So if it's a simple app, you don't need to worry of Fiori applications, the core UI5 development. SAPs with its Fiori elements can generate that with few OData annotations and stuff like that. But I think it's always best to have the core concepts, the basics right, rather than just giving you the applications. If something has to be done to this, if you're not aware of what needs to be done, then it again creates a problem of why am I using this. So I would say it's always good to have both the knowledge base, your basics to be solid, and then to use the offerings out of the box that SAP gives you. Because if something needs to be added or something breaks, you always need to have your basic stuff, that is UI5 programming. Programmers who are aware of what is happening in the background, and then use the latest offering so that you can have a rapid prototyping and rapid applications to your market. uh, Rather than just use simple applications, you can customize your applications and take it to the market or to the end users. So I would say it's easy to get simple views, but it's always good to have the basic knowledge so that you can extend or you can handle it when there is something that is breaking. And again, your backend, if you have an OData wrapper who is doing that, and if that is brought to CAP, with the UI5 guys, with some knowledge, because they're already working with JavaScript and everything, they can simply build those logics here, what your OData wrapper is doing. Because if you go to SAP S4 Cloud Edition, I don't think you will have the flexibility to make all those changes to your cloud environment. Rather, you use the data and the events or the APIs that SAP S4 is offering you. You use the data coming in, you build your UI, you enrich the data and push it back to your S4 so that your SAP transactions gets the required data and the documents have the required information on it. So I would suggest it that way, or my opinion is that uh, they would need certain knowledge, uh, but still you can develop it. It's the maintenance that will affect you if you do not have the required, uh, the basics of the whole programming. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I got it now. Are you going to teach the programming in this, or what exactly you're going to teach here?
Yes, that's what the plan is. How to develop applications using CAP. This is the SAP's documentation. I'll take you through this journey through this documentation that SAP offers you. So how to build custom applications uh, using SAP's programming model, and how to integrate it to your third-party system or your S4 environment, or integrate it to your business hub, API business hub, get the data, build your UI, and yeah, that's what we are planning to take you through.
So if I need to, do I need to have any other like Fiori development experience for this, or UEFI, sorry, UEFI
Um,
development experience?
if, if it's not mandatory that you need to have, but if you are aware of what Fiori or UEFI does to your applications, I think it should be easy for you, because here we will be dealing not only with the UI, but how your database, how you expose your models, your entities, how do you build your custom services, how do you expose your data as a service and stuff like that. Imagine this, your ABAPer is exposing an OData service, right? So you're consuming that service and building your UI5 applications. So here we are dealing with the full stack of it using SAP's cloud application programming model for the cloud native applications. So these things needs to be deployed somewhere. That's on BTP. Again, this is your BTP environment. So yeah, it's a full stack application programming that we would be embarking on. And
What else the BTP covers other than this CAP? What else? What are the
yes,
features that the BTP has?
yeah, if you see my first slide,
I missed it. Sorry. Yeah.
oh yeah, sure, it's not a problem. So sorry, yeah. So a BTP is an overarching term which covers all this. What do you call all these services, or what do you say? I would say these are the 5 pillars of BTP, what BTP stands on, wherein you can uh, have your application development. This is one such pillar we are working on, and it also have the services that required for your automating. If you are aware of workflows, your build processes, um, your automation of services, your IRPA, yeah, because SAP used to have different applications for different use cases. BTP is an umbrella term wherein it is offering its portfolio of products um, under this umbrella um, to your use case. If you want to work on data, you have your HANA database, your analytics, your data spheres, your MDGs, that all falls under this data and analytics pillar of SAP BTP. Similarly, your integration suite, wherein your PIPO of the Esther worlds is now in cloud offering by SAP, wherein you can integrate your third-party systems, get the data from third-party applications, pre-process it, post-process it, and use it according to your in-house requirements. Your automation again, SAP used to have IRPA, your process automation, wherein a simple example, you have a email box where you receive certain invoices, yeah, and these invoices need to be scanned and create a subsequent document in your SAP system. And currently, this process is manual, yeah. So there is someone who is looking at those emails, opening those invoices, scanning through an OCR, posting it to SAP, and doing stuff like that. All that process can be automated, and SAP BTP offers you that service. So it's an amalgamation of services, multiple services that are with AI enhancement to it, with a few of the services, and tools to build your applications. And uh, yeah, that's in a nutshell what SAP BTP is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an umbrella. It's an umbrella term that you can consider it that way. And this umbrella has the covered that are needed to an enterprise, to custom applications for automations, integrations, analytics, and
So,
AI
so
being the
yeah.
latest.
So we are learning one pillar of the BTP. So do we use any editors here, like programming editors?
Sorry, editors, yes. BTP, sorry, the Pro Code tools is the SAP Business Application Studio. We shortly call it as BAS. And Business Application Studio is one thing, and this is the tool that you use it for your programming. And it's an online editor or an online IDE, so it's accessible on through internet. But if you do not have internet and you want to use it on your machine, there is also an offer. Not an There's a plugin that we can install for VS Code. So if you are aware of VS Code is an open IDE wherein you just need to install few extensions on that, and you will have a similar view. Instead of accessing it through internet or through an URL, you can start developing applications locally on your machine. It offers the same capabilities of what this does, and it's just that you don't need to have live internet connection. So
Yeah,
this is the
got it.
idea that we'll be working on.
So do you teach, I mean, any project like end-to-end project after this, like any application that we build from scratch, like a real life example?
Yes, yes, we'll take a simple example and we'll start enriching it with all the concepts. So my idea is it can be a bookshop authors, it can be a list of simple data that we can work on initially to get the basics right, and maybe integrate it to an API hub, your sandbox demo system that SAP offers us. You can connect these applications to your API hub, get some sales order data, and build a view out of it. I mean, the UI view out of it. So those things are planned again. But for the basics, I'll simply go through a simple example to understand what is data model and how do you model your data and what are the different constructs for data modeling. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
So can I maybe one question? Sorry, Chanakya.
Yeah.
So how that integration pillar which you are showing the
Hmm.
five pillars.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just thinking. So do you work on that as well, or only application development? Because application
No.
development, I'm just thinking, because you gave an
Yeah.
example of Ariba, then you can build your own
Hmm.
application, right? So client may say, why
Yes.
I should go for a custom build because I already have
Yeah.
Ariba, which is a standard solution from
Yeah.
SAP.
Yeah. 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 Ariba is one example because Ariba again, you may not need all the capabilities of Ariba. Maybe you just need few features out of it. Yeah. And you want some customization to it. And if you're not willing to, have those customization or any customization to SaaS is both monetarily affecting you and also the resources who does that to you. Yeah. Instead, you have your own custom application with your custom requirement. You can maintain it in-house with that couple of developers instead of paying it to the Ariba consultants and stuff
Okay,
like that.
that's fine.
So
That's fine.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so integration. So I'm more keen towards integration. Uh,
Yes,
okay.
this
So
is not
how
open
that?
source to learn.
Mhm.
You do not have integration suite and trial account, I guess, for you to use. And
Okay.
this is all, again, integration suite offers you certain capabilities, like you want to expose your data. So again, it needs an S4 system that you need to connect with, and that data is processed
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
it can be transformed and used accordingly. So you do not have you need licensed applications, I guess, to get this thing done. Yeah, you need an integration suite subscription to use that. I'm not sure if you have it in trial account. Let me see. This is- Yeah, as I said, integration suite is not offered on a trial basis. So either you need to have a subscribed account, I guess,
Mhm.
so that
Okay.
to learn or work on it. Um, yeah. So there are only few
Okay.
things that
Yeah.
SAP offers on trial basis that we can use it. So I'm just checking if SAP is offering integration suite as well. Integration, cloud management. Yeah, they offer it. Integration suite. I think you need to go through this and utilize it if it is offered by us. Yeah. So again,
Okay.
service marketplace
Sounds
is
good.
one place that you can look at. Helps you quickly develop reliable communication between application services and system across heterogeneous landscape. Yeah. So it is offered in your trial. You just need to create it. I think there will be certain limitations, but yeah, you can look into it and start working on it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Any more questions, guys? And all of you are based out of India, or you are somewhere in the ESTs, PSTs time zones?
I'm in EST time zone, so I also wanted to know what would be the best time for these sessions.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I prefer on the weekends, if you're okay with that. But if we can plan it, I'm looking at I haven't discussed it with Naveen, but yeah,
Yeah,
weekends if you have,
weekends are good for me. Yeah.
yeah. So if we can spend some couple of hours, it should be a well spent weekend, if I may say so. Yeah, we'll send you that plan of how we take it through. But yeah, what I have out of the box in my mind is weekends. Anything else?
Okay. And okay. So we'll also get back. So how that fits our requirement. If you don't mind,
Sure,
yeah.
sure,
So
sure.
I'm just talking
Yeah, yeah,
about
not a,
the requirement.
not a problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So Naveen, are we good or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are good, Shanik. Any other
okay?
queries, or we can wind up for the day? Manoj,
Yeah, we're
any?
clear as of now. We're clear as of
Awesome.
now, Naveen. We'll check and get.
Yeah. Thank you, Shanik.
Okay.
Thanks for the
Thank
time.
you.
Yep. Thanks, you
Thank you.
guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great weekend. Yeah. Bye.